Hey everybody, Damian Questiny here, your navigator on the next quest to power and force, to the earth and the air. I'd like to have this conversation with you. I'd also like to share my gratitude to the quality of people on this channel and the phenomenal questions, both in criticism and in praise and in inquiry. I thank you for that because you have taught me things, and I hope in return that the things that I share here have allowed your mind to open, to allow new forms of thought to enter. Something for you to noodle, something for you to consider, something to motivate you mentally, physically, emotionally, to act, to perform. This is the goal. The goal is to get you to participate, to stir the pot, to make things move. And my gratitude to those who realize that on this channel, I talk not just about remote viewing. In fact, the things that I'm talking about has remote viewing as an aspect. But what I'm talking about here is something much larger. It is the matrix of the entire system in which we live and how this system is mirrored in our everyday lives. And the reason why they're mirrored is because this is how it works. The universe is bound by the same laws as we are. So we just make those things on a micro scale. The reason why we can communicate through the airwaves like this without wires is because the universe communicates in the same form and fashion. We just duplicate it through frequency and technology, through sound and light, through yin and yang, right? Electricity and magnetism. So, the real power behind this science, to give you the biggest secret, if you want, right? Whatever you want to call it, the key to it all is that your power comes from the earth. And everything that the earth has is organic, and it is material, and this material has power, and you can draw upon this to make the world what you will. And the greatest expression, the highest expression of the earth is a word that you hear, but not everybody really understands. And that's the word love. And love is very complicated, but for good reason. Because it is naked and it is a warrior. And it has these qualities that have care as its foundation. Now, this is different than the opposite nature in which it feeds upon and pushes and pulls against through a competition from a observer would call it. But it's not in competition, it's actually in harmony. And this is how the system controls, is through the revealing of the competitive nature as opposed to the revealing of the harmonious nature. The harmonious nature is secretly hidden, while the competitive nature is pointed out and glorified. Where grace is lost and glory is promoted. So love is naked. but love is proud. And it's power, and it's a mother, M-O-M. And when you flip that around just to add a little humor into this, you get W-O-W, which is wow, which is its opposite nature to somebody who is observing. So wow instead of mom. And wow is daddy. And it's air. And air is force, which is different than power. And your intention makes your creation exist. It is the force behind it. It is the inorganic, but it's in everything. It animates. It can't be seen. And these two natures are the fundamental basis for the world in which we live. And things are born from that. And things are also harvested. The main expression of air and force in this narrative that we're discussing here, just this idea in which I'm presenting, is imagination. And imagination is just as powerful as love. But it's about force over power. It's about electricity over magnetism. Now, when you add the element of time, time has a cycle to it as well. And that cycle provides also a filter in which you view the world. But that filter always has the same cadence and frequency and beat. A perfect example: Titans versus Olympians, the Babylonian gods of Anu, which you look in today's mythology, you have Uranus or Uranu. In fact, let's take that even further and go to our youth and how we use these same gods of worship through every age, because it's reflected in the constellations and the stars above us, because we are actually expressions of those, as above, so below. They are impressions and expressions of us, and we are of them. So, our children, today's mythos, you have the gods portrayed as superheroes. You have Superman as Jupiter. You have Batman as Saturn. You have Wonder Woman as the beautiful Venus. Okay? The Flash would be Mars. Mercury would be the metal guy, right? Because he's an alchemist. Turning different metals into gold. Right? Wealthy, Iron Man, super wealthy. Why? He's an alchemist. He knows how to make things. We have Aquaman as Neptune. We can continue if we like. But it's the same stories rewritten over and over again. And we use these as our filters for the world. But there's also how the control matrix works. When really, it has to do with your blood, its purity, its conditioning, its environment, the value in which it receives through its vitamins and minerals and caloric intake. And then you have your intention. And your intention is where your will and your desire come from. And if you can align those with the power of the earth, which is where true magical power comes from.